We're excited to check out Shilo, but first, I want to know. I want to know where the idea came from for this amazing product that you created. Because the very first time you showed it to me, I was like, "Wow, man, this does a lot of what everything should do in this world." So, let me read your intro really quick so people know who you are a little bit.
No, just gonna
Justin,
hide.
yeah, hide. Here we go. Justin Benson is a real estate operator turned tech innovator who's transforming how top performing teams sell homes after scaling the Glutch Group across 3 states and personally closing hundreds of transactions. Justin saw firsthand the hurdles that slow agents down, which I think is key, and set out to solve them. He launched Bara Agency, a fractional CTO consultancy dedicated to simplifying complex tech stacks for large real estate teams. Building on that momentum, Justin introduced Shilo AI, which is what we're going to take a look at today. It's an AI-driven assistant that delivers real-time call coaching and seamlessly automates CRM management, enabling elite agents to close more deals faster. We'll stop there. Justin, what you built is pretty amazing. It's seamless. It helps us. It grades us. It makes us better. Where do you think AI is heading in the real estate world from what you're seeing before you show me all this good stuff?
Oh, geez, where is it heading in the AI world?
Let's see.
Well, I honestly, that's a huge loaded question, but I'm kind of the guy. I'm not your huge public speaker. I'm usually the guy that those people call to ask questions like that. So hopefully I can answer it. My personal opinion is that there's a lot of jobs and there's a lot of minutia that is in the act of selling a home and being a real estate agent, right? There are like 200 some odd things that it needs domain experience, but it is still manual, right? AI is going to show up to help augment those things at the end of the day, right? People's fears about AI replacing the real estate agent, like replacing the end service provider, I think that's all that's not real, not especially not anytime soon. Because I mean, I think about it like, could AI sort QuickBooks and reconcile my books in QuickBooks better than my accountant with less errors? Yeah, probably. But I still want my accountant on the back end. Whenever it's time to actually talk to the IRS, I want a human back there to tell me, did I do the right thing? Because the thing I'm about to do when I file my taxes, there could be repercussions for me getting this wrong, right? And real estate is one of those transactions where like you want to be sure that you know that you know that you know. And funny thing about AI is that it's real good at like it's really good at computational problems, but it's really bad at common sense. Very bad at common sense right now. So hopefully that answers the question, alleviates people's fears on that side. I live in this cave day in and day out. And this Shilo thing came about because we had a big bar agency client, Levi Rodgers, like 300 some odd agents out in San Antonio. He couldn't figure out how to scale training on calls, right? Like, how do you listen to all of the calls? He had 9 sales managers in his organization, and even then was still spot checking with a varying degree of competency to even digest those calls and actually communicate it to the agents in a way that they would take it in the first place, right? So we created Shilo way back when, like 3 years ago, as a like prototype project inside a bar agency just to solve that problem. And we thought that, cool, yeah, it would be awesome. Like, this is another really great notch in bar agency's belt of something cool that we built. But then over a 6-month span of watching, models improve and watching us continue to make improvements to that tool for him, his appointment set rate increased by 93%. And that was wild. And his agents were logging into the clunky prototype more than his sales managers were, which led us to believe that, okay, people are more willing to take feedback from a unbiased third party than even their like direct sales managers, right? So we spent about a year of our lives downloading 3 million hours of real estate sales calls to train this thing with the core competency to understand like what are the best practices to convert at a high level on the phone. So at its core, yeah, Shilo helps you, out coach your competition that's around you. So
I like that. And I like what you said about AI too. I think that's going to be a common theme. We're going to find that it's here to help us out, and we're going to be a core component to the future of real estate as well. I think I'm more concerned about Rocket, Redfin, Zillow, Flex, ICE Mortgage, on how they're going to use AI to take part of our commission, and instead, let's get ahead of this. This is why I love what you've got here.
I'm actually going to show you, like, I'm not used to doing these things where it's like a Shilo, like, show off thing. I can demonstrate a few slides from it, but
Well,
my, like,
I want to see it in action too, if you're able to, and
yeah,
then
yeah.
show whatever else you've got, man.
Yeah. So, in the spirit of like this being like an informational thing and like make sure that, like, I don't know, we leave people better than we found them. I want that to be true, whether or not people sign up for Shiloh that are on this call or not. Right. So,
Yeah.
the funny thing that you should talk about, like pricing segments, is that I ran this exercise with one of our bar agency teams not too long ago where we
Mhm.
exported their last 12 months of sales data. And then we're
Mhm.
able to have AI analyze all that sales data and tell us what market segments make the most sense for us to go after as a company. Which ones are the ones that we should actually prioritize and train on? And then, hey, let's create some client avatars that we can train and are memorable, right? Like Move Up Molly or like
Yeah.
Zillow Zach or things like that. And kind of all the core personality traits. Because at the core of what Shiloh's training people to do is like how to communicate to people. And that's not that skill set, like, it's not just in real estate, right? Like, if I learn how to correctly communicate, and it really starts with learning your own communication style. I love DISC just because it's very easy to train and talk about. I'm also a big fan of Enneagram, but that takes a while to unpack. DISC
Mhm.
makes it very easy to, like, in a brief sense, understand
Simple.
how you communicate and how other people communicate, right?
Yep. I got
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. So let me show that to you guys real quick because I do want to make sure that everybody gets that and understands that because that leads into, what Shiloh is. So let me share screen here, window, entire screen. There we go. Got it here.
All
All right.
right.
Am I sharing?
I got you, man. I'm going to zoom in a little bit.
Okay, cool. Oh, I can zoom. I can make my screen bigger. I forget that I have like a super zoomed out screen. So first warning is like the resident AI nerd around here. I always pull this up beforehand just to remind people AI should not go unchecked when it comes off the shelf. Like it took us, and I'm not exaggerating, millions of hours of training to make sure that Shiloh doesn't make mistakes like this, right? So what's interesting here is like when GPT-5 showed up, the first thing I asked it was, how many B's are in blueberry? Oh, there's 3 B's in the word blueberry. I was like, are you sure? Yep, I triple checked blueberry. Oh, nope, just kidding. There's not a third one there. And it made up some kind of like BS excuse as to like, oh, I was just being over generous with consonants. You're like, that makes no sense. Like, I don't, you're just like covering your tracks, right? And this is the most powerful model that OpenAI has ever put out, right? So that
Hmm.
it is my first warning to everybody that like the hard thing in building purpose-built AI is actually training this stuff out of it, these hallucinations out of it. And we have done it and continue to do it at Shiloh. But right off the shelf, like another really interesting thing here is if like I did this complete the sentence fun thing for the Lawton team out in Arizona where it's like, oh, if you live in Buckeye, you probably drive a lifted truck. What's funny is that like
Mm.
AI is really, really, really sophisticated autocomplete, but it's operating off of what is most probable to come next, right? Why did it say this? Because this is a stereotype in Buckeye. Okay, cool. A
Dude.
kitchen was just remodeled with these features. All right, sweet. Sleek shaker cabinets, quart countertops, sparkle under pendant lighting, a farmhouse. Okay, like that's every kitchen remodel we've ever seen in our lives, right? Why is it giving this reaction? Because, well, this is what it is seen the most, right? Now, here's where it goes off the rails. I got a client in Mesa that wants a safe neighborhood they should live in, and it said, here's the neighborhoods they should live in. We can't answer that question as a real estate agent. We cannot say this. And AI does not know that that is the case, right? So that's
Yeah,
just my quick warning thing before I move on
I
here.
love
But
that, man.
something really fun. So I anonymized all this data. This is from a real team. It's a big, giant top 5 real trends mega team on the planet. And this what I did first, and I'll share these prompts with everybody, but what I did in the very beginning was, okay, I want to demonstrate that what AI is strong at is analyzing data in mass, right? So, okay, cool. Here we go. I uploaded all of that. It's not loading now, but you're an expert data analyst, create 4 or 5 segments, yada, yada, yada. Okay, sweet. it created these segments for me, and then also gave me a lot of really great explanations. Like, okay, move up mid-range buyers. This was 887 closings in the past year. 8.1K per file, 30% higher than entry-level buyers. So it's telling us like why this is important. And one thing that I've realized inside of real estate teams from like the bar agency side and from the Shilo side is that people spend a lot of money on leads, not knowing if this is like their ideal lead that they should focus on, right? There are a lot of great companies that make sure that, like Nike, for example, they went from being a running shoe company to going, oh, actually, our client avatar is young performing athletes. And that's when they made the huge transition to just do it.
Yeah.
And they became and then Nike blew up into becoming a huge, huge company at that point. They were not prior to that transition. And the reality of that is that there's like power in these niches, right? Knowing who exactly you should be selling to and who you should operate with is very important. So this was kind of stage one was, okay, let's understand like of all of this closing data, which ones matter the most to our organization, right? So Zillow Flex buyers for this team, surprise, surprise. Okay, sweet. Sphere of influence, luxury clients, and then referral champions. This is really great. Okay, so putting it all together, here's a lot of really great information. And then the very next thing that I did here was I went, okay, cool. Now I want to create 5 client avatars that are specific to this team, like catchy, memorable titles. I want to know the following: tell a story of who they are, general demographic data, how to identify what general like disc personality profiles, how each personality profile should
Ooh.
typically communicate to this person. What I'm doing here is, okay, now the output is I want to make a detailed version of this thing as a training manual in a PDF. And then second, I want a quick glance table at the end of this, because once we've realized like, okay, this is who we should be selling to, like these are now the hard part is like, how do we train that? How do we train our agents to like spot people quickly? How do I
Yeah.
train myself, even as a solo agent? How do I spot these people quickly? So it went ahead and it did its computation, and then it came up with some really marvelous stuff here. Like, so number one, move up Molly. And it gives a really fun, like, hey, I'm Move Up Molly. My husband and I bought our starter home 8 years ago, and our kids and doodle dog and hybrid work schedule have us bursting at the seams. We make about this much between his salary and mine, and we built up this much in equity. Our budget is this. I'm looking for Chandler School District before the new semester. Okay,
That's good.
sweet. Really fun stuff where now we can actually train our organization on how to spot these people, right? And I explain this kind of as a precursor to Shilo, because knowing how to communicate is one part of the equation. Knowing who you're communicating to is the second part of the equation. And I once heard Ben Kinney say it in the most simple way that I've ever heard, is that sales is saying the right thing to the right people, the right amount of time. So like a lot of people will say things like, oh, you have to say the right thing to the right people at the right time. We can't timing is something that we can't control. We don't know when the other person's timing is going to be, but frequency is something. The right amount of times is something that we can control, right? And what I'm putting together here is like, okay, like communicate to the right people. Okay, sweet, awesome. And then Shilo trains you on like, okay, how do you say the right thing and practice that? And then obviously it's kind of up to you guys on making sure that you say it enough times, right? So this is completely done. I just copy and paste this into a PDF in Google Docs. I have a training manual ready to go for my current and new agents to understand exactly who we should go after as a company. And this, by in no exaggeration of the term, will drastically increase conversion rates when people know exactly who they're speaking to on the phone, right? So yeah, that's that first part. Tristan, what do you got for me before I kind of transition to some
I
Shilo?
want to listen. I want to see Shilo, buddy.
All right, let's pull up Shilo then. Da, 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 da. All right, this is Shilo for you guys. Sorry, I got a big, massive screen. Keep forgetting that. There we go. So this is Shilo. Shilo, in its essence, what it does is in 5 minutes, it attaches to your CRM, your dialer that you use. And I'm not exaggerating. Onboarding is 5 minutes. You enter an API key, you're off to the races, right? That onboarding call is 30 minutes, and it's just 5 minutes in the very beginning getting Shilo connected. Shilo starts listening and analyzing every single call that your organization makes, utilizing the best practices. I'm actually putting together a white paper right now. Over the past year alone, we have analyzed the equivalent of 6 years and 22 days of nonstop speech time. Like, that's wild. In 1 year, we have analyzed that much data here inside of Shilo. And we're able to take that and go, okay, now we know exactly what the best practices are and what the best mechanisms and levers are to pull to increase conversion rate from phone calls that we're making to appointment set. And that's the thing that we control here at Shilo. That's the ROI, right? That's the thing that we can demonstrate, is that time and time again, like I sent Kyle Whistle their like 5-month stats not too long ago. And you wouldn't think that the #1 EXP team on the planet had much juice to squeeze out of that thing. Their appointment set rate increased by 137%, which is freaking nuts, right? Just saying the right thing. So let me pull up an individual call here just to demonstrate. I'm not going to have the ability to go through like everything that exists in Shilo for you guys today, but you can book a demo and we can chat about that later. So let me pull up. He's exploring properties in San Antonio. All right, sweet. So Shilo's grading system operates on a 1 to 5 star scale. So this is a 3-star call, which means that it is satisfactory. 1 to 2 means it needs improvement. 3 is satisfactory. 4 is great. And 5 is exceptional. Download it, train future agents with it, incentivize it, create competitions around it in your organization, because gamifying quality of conversation actually works to drive behavior in the organization. But the real metrics around here is like, there's some really cool stuff. We're dispositioning it automatically, really fun call metrics with the ability to put in custom keywords in the back end to literally track anything you want. We got a bunch of teams tracking the phrase "just checking in" to make sure that agents are not saying the, like, "Hey, Tristan, just checking in on your home search. Want to see," like, we never want to say that, right? So we can track whatever we want here in Shilo.
And just touching base, dude. Nobody wants to hear that shit.
Yeah, just touching base, just anything that starts with "just," honestly, is usually a bad start to a opening statement, right? So what this does here is allows us to get to those moments in the transcript really quickly. But the meat and potatoes of Shilo is this. If I hover over this star rating, it's going to give me a lot of really great information. What model was used to grade it? Like, okay, cool. We have a core sales model for licensed real estate agents. We have a customer service model. We have a recruiting model for recruiting agents to your team, your brokerage, your downline, what have you. And then we have a non-licensed ISA model, which is drastically different. If the ISA says something on the phone like, "Hey, Tristan, the house next door is 450 grand," Shilo will hand them back a 1-star call. And then the call coaching say, "Don't ever do that again. That's illegal. You're not allowed to talk about things like that," right? But we're looking at the core sales model here. And then Shilo's reasoning. This is directly answering the question, "Hey, Shilo, why did you give this a 3?" And it's Shilo explaining itself, right? And then it says, okay, to reach a 5 out of 5, he should close the loop by summarizing, confirming critical details. Lots of really good information here. But what this is explaining is the what behind it. And most agents would read that and go, cool, but how? I need to know how to do this. So, okay, sweet. Let's go over here to the agent coaching section. And this is where how shows up. Okay, cool. Top 3 moments. These are the things that Ernest did really well on this call. And this is a live call. This happened yesterday afternoon, it looks like. And then the top improvements. So sharper client first opening to build trust. He opened with confusion. "Hi, is this Anna?" In an unfocused, "I was calling because we seen that you were looking at properties on one of our websites. Are you commenting on the market?" That's interesting. What happened there? So, okay. Then Shilo's going to give a replacement script. "Hey, you could probably say this. Hey, Ray, this is Ernesto Perez with the Levi Rodgers Group. I saw you were looking at homes near TPC and wanted to send a few that match your preferences. Do you have 2 minutes now, or should I call back at a better time?" So, okay, we want to give real life examples of how you could have done this better. Not just say, "Hey, here's a sharper," like, this is what we really, really care intrinsically as an organization of always explaining the how behind it, right? Clarifying timeline. Okay, controlling the call flow and confirming details loudly and simply. Really good information here. Great. At the end of this, though, how do I implement this? Like, what am I supposed to do? Just like remember this and hopefully these objections show up next time? Like, no, I don't want to do that. What I want to do is be able to practice this right here and now. And I don't know if StreamYard streams audio, but what we can do here is we can click role play. And what Shilo's going to do is not just ingest the call. This isn't situational based role playing. What Shilo just did is it ingested the call, the transcript, the objections, the tone of voice, everything that happened on this call. And it's going to have my call coaching notes here and allow me to try this again, right? So if I click start role play, like, check this out. I can go. Are you able to hear that over there?
No, we weren't in here anything. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll just demonstrate. It's talking back in real time, but I can say, okay, let's just give a really good example. This opening script was some feedback that it gave. So I can just go ahead and go, okay, let's try this on in the very opening. Let's see. Hey, this is Ernesto Perez with the Levi Rodgers Group. I saw you're looking at homes near TPC and wanted to send a few that match your preferences. Do you have 2 minutes now? Okay, so I don't want to bore you guys with a huge long role play call, but as you continue, if I ask questions about like, oh, what are you looking for? What happened here? You're going to start to see, oh, we are actually having this conversation again. And what's fun about this is that when you take this and put this into a role play section, we have a team library where a good example for Levi's organization is here's all these 3-star Zillow Flex calls. These are simulated off of real life calls. So if you're role playing with an AI bot that is only situational, it's like, okay, cool. I'm just calling the situation that is a Zillow Flex connection call. The problem with that is if you role play enough times with it, you start to see the patterns because you're only dealing with one personality type. And the problem with that is that you end up having a false sense of confidence and you have a different personality type jump on the phone and you get completely thrown for a loop, right? Now, what's awesome is that every single one of these calls was predicated off of a real life person's personality. And now when an agent enters Levi's organization, they can go, okay, cool. Hey, before you're set live on new leads, what we're going to do is you're going to go into the team library over here and you're going to role play all of these 3 stars and you have to convert them to 5 stars in order for you to be ready to be set live on real calls, right? And it simulates the real world that they would actually encounter as they're accepting those calls. And it obviously works on any lead source, right? And then some other stuff is we spool all this data to the top. You know, you can create some really fun things like, I don't know, best of Zillow. Like, how is Levi? I'm only picking on Zillow here because Levi's just got a bunch of those calls in here. But like, how is he pulling the best of Zillow? Oh, all of the agents that made calls to Zillow Flex leads in the past 30 days that held over a 3-star rating. Now I go over here and I have a real-time, always updating list of agent performance at any given time. And I can see their percent increase deltas, decrease deltas, all of that good stuff. Instead of guessing at his 350 agents, he knows right now, these are the 19 people that are actually just like kicking ass at Zillow Flex
I
calls,
love the
right?
ratings, dude. All right, so explain these ratings to me.
These ratings? Okay.
Yeah.
So a rating is, like I said, 1 to 5. Shilo cares about a myriad of things in its assessment of call rating, but there's 3 categories that we tell everybody to focus on because all of those things fall into 3 categories. The first one is inspiring confidence and building trust with the other human being you're on the phone with. And the reason I call it a category is because there are different ways that we can do that, especially depending on when we are talking to this person and the life cycle of when we're interacting with them, right? So, okay, cool. I got somebody that I am talking to for the very first time. Building confidence and trust is different than when I am preparing a purchase contract for them for the first time, right? Shiloh's aware of that and it has the context to understand that there are different ways that this can happen and it's holistically looking at the conversation to see, did this happen? The second category is your ability to manage objections and answer questions without being overly salesy or using complicated technical jargon. Professionals can handle objections and answer questions succinctly and plainly and communicate it in a way that people that are not real estate agents can understand. And then the third thing that Shiloh cares the most about, and I'll recap this in a second, but is keeping sales momentum moving forward at all times with a defined and dedicated next step. This is like runs rampant. So of all of the data that we've crunched of those 6 days and 22 hours, 77% of the phone calls that have processed through Shiloh, they literally ended without any kind of next step. Nothing at all. If teams just focused on, okay, all we are going to do is we're going to train people on how to appropriately set a next step, not, hey, let's follow up next week, because Shiloh is going to give you a 1 to 2-star call for something like that. But actually hey, Tristan, I'm going to send you all these listings and I'm pretty wide open tomorrow and Friday. What if we just get a time on the calendar now to go see your top 2 or 3 homes? That's really our best next step. Solidify it, get commitment for it, right? That is the most important thing that we can do there. So a 1 to 2-star call means that the person failed at 1 or 2 or all 3 of those categories. A 3-star call means that they satisfied it at an intermediate level. A 4-star call means that they probably did a really good job, maybe setting a next step or building rapport and creating trust. And then a 5-star call is different. 4s to 5s, the real difference here is soft skills. So we're talking about anchoring positive emotions, your cadence, your speech cadence, like matching and pacing with the person that you're speaking with, your ability to mirror things back to somebody, even managing your own emotional state, because Shilo is aware of tone of voice. So when it gives you feedback, if you were flat and had a like flat tone of voice, it's going to say, hey, you should be more enthusiastic on your next phone call, right? So it's going to give you feedback. Only those things get you to a 5-star call. You can sell a ton of houses just registering 4-star calls. But if you want to be an expert salesperson, 5 stars is what you're aiming at. And those soft skills is really what is the dividing line between those people. So
I love that, man. Thank you. Thank you for demonstrating that. I love that. So what are you guys excited about next? We've got about 2 minutes.
yeah. Oh shoot. Should I share again? I don't know if I
No, I'll remove that from the story about it. We're good.
All right, sweet. So what we're excited about next is Shiloh's core competency the vision has always been, okay, Shiloh's great at coaching, which is the grading section of things and feedback. It's good at training, which is how do we implement this in real life, the role play engine that's in there. And then it's going to be really great at assisting. These features are in beta right now and are rolling out in about a month, where Shiloh's going to be taking action after your phone calls automatically. So setting appointments, creating notes, creating tasks, things like that in your CRM automatically. However, not just that. We're going to be enriching the database with the stuff that people say on the phone. They have kids, they have a dog, they go to a church, they speak Spanish, they speak Swahili. Shiloh operates in 15 plus different languages. All of the demographic data that creates really great marketing segmentation to deliver the right message to the right person that we never get into our CRMs. We're going to be enriching that as well. And then once that is out, we are working in the background for Shiloh would be able to walk into appointments with you and do exactly what you're used to, but for in-person appointments as well.
I love that. And right now you're only focused on real estate, or are you also opening it up to other verticals?
Real estate, and we're meandering into mortgage right now. So we got a few teams on the mortgage side, like Cheplack's mortgage company is about to transition over to using Shiloh. And then we're getting integrated with our friends over at Bonzo on the mortgage side to make sure that we are integrated with a mortgage specific CRM and start making sure that happens. That one's actually a lot of fun because the compliance things that we can catch and help with people are really, really interesting use cases.
Got it. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. I'm getting a couple of texts that this is absolutely amazing. So, and
thanks, you guys.
Rick said the same thing. So, guys, check it out if you do have questions, or if you want to just play around with it. What's the best way to get a hold of you, man?
The best way to get a hold of me is, if you want to book a demo, go ahead and scan that QR code right there. That'll help you book a demo for Shiloh. It's just a quick kind of 30-minute walkthrough. There's many more things in the platform that I was not able to do. Justin's home address is 123 East Main Street. The pricing tiers, to get in contact with me personally, you can actually my email is jb@shiloh.ai. So you guys can have that email and message me and ask questions. Happy to do that and connect you with the right person inside of the team. And then pricing, forgot to answer that. Shiloh's pricing is based on a usage. How many hours of phone calls do you guys place? So it makes sure that it scales with the needs of your organization, starting at 10 hours at $199 a month and kind of scaling in increments of tiers up from there, right? So depending on what you want, you can even just try Shiloh on for 10 hours and see if you like it and see if you trust it without needing it to scale to some higher level. Shiloh will just analyze 10 hours of calls for you. You can review them and go, okay, cool. I like this, so I'm going to go ahead and roll this out. And not even that, we want to make sure that people have the ability to spend, let's say that they have enough hours where their full bore rate is going to be $2,000 a month. This is only for the really big teams like Levi and Haver and people like that, right? Those are, if let's say that is truly yours, but you only have a budget for 50 hours. Okay, cool. We have the ability for you to turn off stages, lead sources, even individual people in your organization to spend the money on the calls that matter the most to you guys as an organization. So we want to try to make that flexible as much as we can.
God, I love that, man. Thank you. Thanks for being on. Thank you for showcasing it. I love what you're doing. Appreciate this.
Thanks for having me on, man. It's an honor to be. This is the infamous Tristan summoned me. Of course I'm here, man. This is awesome.
Summon you. Let me bring in Barry. You guys can say hi to each other because I know you know. You guys know each other.
What's
I mean, I
up?
got to be honest with you. I'm kind of irritated, Tristan. Like, a part of my contract is that I have the best hair on the webinar, and I relegated it with you, but now both of you guys, like, on one webinar, like, this is a clear violation of the
That's
agreement.
why he's wearing a hat, okay?
Yeah, I'm just
I
trying to be
know.
understated. No, actually, I had a kid get hurt this morning, and I'd lost my time window to shower and do my hair. Is really what happened. So.
Oh, damn, bro. I hope
Hey,
everything's
Justin, good
okay.
to see you, buddy. Hope your
He's
kid's
good.
okay.
I got a son that needs to wear a helmet at all times. Is the real reality of that. So
Well, he's got your DNA. So
yeah, dude. Barry, congrats on the LPT announcement as well, man. That's freaking awesome.
yeah, thanks, dude. Yeah, I'm having fun. Yeah, having
Dude.
fun. Yeah,
All of this stuff that's happening to you, like, literally couldn't happen to a better human being, man. So I'm really freaking pumped for you.
Thanks, Justin.
Very
I
true.
appreciate that, man. Yeah, I'm enjoying serving others, same as you guys. So
Very
Awesome.
true. Justin, thanks for being on, man. Appreciate you. If you guys have questions, you can scroll up. He dropped his email address there. And if you get lost, just message me. Thanks, buddy.
Awesome. Thanks.
Thanks,
See you
Justin.
guys.
Good to see you, buddy.